So, folks may be aware that Leonard Peltier will be running for vice president of the United States. Good. Great. Right? Socialist Party, they're going to nominate him for vice president. A socialist, particular one of the trends, one of the alphabet soup of socialist parties is going to nominate him. Good. You know, Leonard Peltier, the evidence seems to show that he did not kill those FBI agents. He's not guilty. It was, a political frame-up. The other Native American activists who were charged with him were actually acquitted, but he was tried separately and was convicted. Leonard Peltier is a political prisoner in the United States, and, internationally, a lot of people point to his case and say this is a miscarriage of justice, and so one of these socialist groups is going to run him for president. Good for them, right? Raising awareness about his case is not something I oppose. Good thing. Interestingly, I think people don't realize how politically loaded that case is, right? It's something that people on the far left talk about. People free Leonard Peltier. That's been an ongoing left-wing thing. But don't forget, during the end of Bill Clinton's term in office, Bill Clinton was going to pardon Leonard Peltier. I mean, it was going to happen. He was starting to do it. And the FBI director, Louis Freeh, this was in the year 2000, just as Bill Clinton was starting to leave office, FBI Director Louis Freeh assembled hundreds of FBI agents at the White House. And Bill Clinton changed his mind at the last minute. You can read about it. The New York Times reported on this. Hundreds of FBI agents swarmed the White House, led by FBI Director Louis Freeh, to basically make clear to Bill Clinton he better not pardon Leonard Peltier. And he didn't. And Leonard Peltier is in prison. And Obama freed a lot of people as he was leaving office. A lot of nonviolent drug offenders, some Puerto Rican activists, Chelsea Manning even. Obama did not touch Leonard Peltier. The FBI takes it very personally, very, very personally, that anyone would even consider freeing Leonard Peltier. But there are other wings of the American establishment. Right? From what I understand, George Soros very much wants to free Leonard Peltier. George Soros is very interested in Native American issues. And I think that George Soros is not alone. I think, there is a Native American museum in the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C. And it's not a secret that the Native American issue is one of the most bad PR aspects of the United States out there, right? There's no way you can go over U.S. history and say that Native Americans got treated fairly. You can't do it. You can't do it. Right? The way Native Americans were treated, if you look at U.S. history, it was genocide, it was mass murder, it was theft of their land, numerous treaties broken, hundreds of treaties. There's no way you can look at U.S. history and say, you know what, those Native Americans, what are they complaining about? The U.S. government treated them just, no. Go to Native American reservations, North Dakota, South Dakota, go to the Southwest, go to Oklahoma. Come on. The way Native Americans were treated, the way Native Americans live today, it's pretty clear this is a group of people that really, really, really got mistreated. You can talk about cultural genocide and the Indian schools that they had, where they beat the language out of these kids, took them from their parents. You talk about, there were so many massacres. The massacre at Janitin Hutton, the massacre at Wounded Knee. Nobody in their right mind can say that what was done to the Native Americans was right. Now, I'm saying no one in their right mind, because Ayn Rand thinks it was right. She thinks it was okay because they had done nothing with the land or something like that. Dinesh D'Souza thinks it was okay, said so in a Fox News interview, and said they all died from disease, but no one in their right mind, so not including Ayn Rand and Dinesh D'Souza, beyond insane people, beyond dangerously crazy psychopathic people, no one thinks that what was done to the Native Americans was a good thing. No one. And so, if your job is to try and get people around the world to have a positive image of the United States, That's largely what intelligence agencies do. You can be sure that managing the narrative around Native Americans, you can be sure that that's on your agenda. You can be sure that that is on your agenda. Right? If your job is to try and get people not to think the USA is a horrendous, racist, settler, colonialist, horrific country, you're going to be trying to manage the image of Native Americans. You are going to be trying to go, okay, how do we make this Native American issue not look horrendous for the United States? Think about it. And yes, geopolitical rivals of the United States talk about Native Americans. I don't know if folks are familiar with Dean Reed. Has anyone ever heard of Dean Reed? Well, if you're a young leftist, socialist, or communist, you should have heard of Dean Reed. He was the Red Elvis. He was the Red Elvis. He was a country singer who moved to Chile and eventually moved to the Soviet Union. He brought rock and roll to the Eastern Bloc. He was the Red Elvis. You know, Dean Reed. He did communist rock and roll music in the late 70s and up into the 80s before he died. Dean Reed. And what was one of Dean Reed's hit songs when he was performing rock and roll across Eastern Europe? He sang one of his songs, Somos los revolucionarios. You know, it's like We Are Revolutionary. It's like a communist Latin American song. He sang Venceremos, Venceremos, the song of Salvador Allende. But what was one of the songs that Dean Reed performed across Eastern Europe in his cowboy costume, singing to Eastern European audiences communist-themed American music, communist-themed rock and roll music? What was one of his hit songs? Wounded Knee 73. Look it up. You can find it on YouTube. I'm not a very good musician. I can't sing everything. But it was a hit song in Eastern Europe. People were listening to Wounded Knee 73, a song about the incident on Pine Ridge Reservation, which the American Indian movement, I believe, Leonard Peltier was involved in, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not an expert on the American Indian issue. But, you know, look it up. So geopolitical rivals of the United States have talked a lot about the Native American issue. So you can bet that there are people in the United States establishment that would like Leonard Peltier out of jail. They think, okay, we've got a Native American activist in jail after how many years, and he probably didn't kill the FBI agent. It was probably friendly fire. You know, there's a lot, you know, the other Native American activists who were tried for it, the jury looked at the evidence and they were acquitted. So maybe we should just let Leonard Peltier out. Maybe we should, like, not have this be like a bad image of the United States, right? Everyone knows we killed all the Native Americans and did horrendous things. Maybe if we let him out, we'll make big publicity about it and say, see, just like we have Black President Barack Obama, just like, we're getting over the racist past. We're going to let out this Native American political prisoner. I am sure that the reason Bill Clinton was probably moving toward letting Leonard Peltier out of jail back in the year 2000 was because people in the intelligence agencies said to him, Bill, it would be really good for America's PR, especially in South America, or this guy named Hugo Chavez just got elected, and there's these communist parties that are fighting austerity, and it would be really good for the image of the United States if you could release Leonard Peltier from jail, and we'll make it a big news story, and it'll show that the USA isn't racist toward Native Americans. It'll be good. So you release Leonard Peltier, we'll clean up the image of the United States, and we can all kind of move on and pretend that the Native American thing and Wounded Knee in 1973 and all that didn't happen. Can you do that for us, Bill? That'd be a good thing, and we'll make sure the message gets out there, and it'll kind of clean up. This will be some ugly stuff on America's record, and it'll be good. It'll be a good PR move for the United States. And Bill Clinton said, well, I guess I'll do that. I'm Bill Clinton, President of the United States. I like Monica Lewinsky. And he was getting ready to do it. And then the FBI director, Louis Freeh, said, oh, no, you don't. Oh, no, you don't. Hundreds of FBI agents outside the White House. Oh, no, you don't. And Bill Clinton said, well, I'm going to be leaving office. I really don't want to make the FBI mad. Those guys really know how to get after people. So I guess Leonard Peltier can forget it, but this Mark Rich guy, we can let him out. And don't forget that, right? Mark Rich, that was classic. Mark Rich, the biggest case of tax evasion in all of U.S. history. A tax cheat. A huge, huge tax cheat. Right? Who had happened to be a Bill Clinton donor. The guy was completely corrupt. The guy was, it was like this guy was like, had defrauded the U.S. government out of hundreds of millions of dollars. And Bill Clinton said, Mark Rich, we're going to let this go. We're going to let this go. I'm just going to pardon him. I'm not running for office anymore. And, it was something else. I like doing voice impressions, folks. I'm having a good time here.